Songyun finally speaks out on Soo Kai betrayal. Will love stand for the truth? By the Mirror Gazette, August 3rd, 2025. In a world where love often collides with fame and the shadows of betrayal loom larger than spotlights, actress Songyun, beloved for her warmth, authenticity, and dazzling performances, has finally broken her silence on the long-rumored betrayal by Soo Kai, the man once believed to be the love of her life. What she revealed wasn't just a scandal. It was a storm of truth, heartbreak, and resilience that has stunned fans, fractured loyalties, and left the nation asking, can love survive when trust is shattered? Songyun and Soo Kai were once the golden pair of the Chinese entertainment industry. Their chemistry first ignited on the set of their 2023 hit drama Fate's Promise, where Soo played a brooding CEO with a broken past, and Tan, a bright-eyed photographer with a heart that refused to give up on people. Their on-screen intimacy was electric. Every stolen glance, every unscripted touch, left fans breathless. Soon, rumors spilled off-screen. They were spotted laughing together after rap parties, sneaking coffee dates in the early morning light, and even sharing matching bracelets. Neither confirmed the relationship, but their silence was the loudest confirmation. For a while, it seemed love had triumphed, two artists finding solace in each other amid the ruthless glare of stardom. But then came December 2024, when Songyun unfollowed Soo Kai on social media. Fans immediately noticed. Then cryptic posts followed, "You think you know someone, and loyalty is rare if it exists at all." Gossip exploded. A month later, a bombshell dropped. Soo Kai had allegedly been secretly involved with a rising actress, Lin Shi, who was filming Burning Snow with him in Dalian. Leaked photos of Soo entering and exiting Lin Shi's hotel at midnight over consecutive days went viral. Soo denied wrongdoing, stating he was merely discussing scripts and comforting a friend during a hard time. But Tan said nothing until now. In an exclusive interview with Phoenix Weekly, Songyun sat down in a sunlit garden, wearing a simple white blouse and little makeup, her vulnerability on full display. "I stayed silent because I was trying to protect something precious," she began, her voice steady but tight with emotion. "But silence, I learned, only protects the ones who hurt you." What followed was a raw, soul-bearing confession that left the host and the audience speechless. Yes, Soo and I were together. Not just dating, we were in love. Or at least, I believe we were. We shared dreams, talked about marriage. He met my mother. We had a little place in Qingdao where we'd go just to breathe away from the cameras. I gave him my heart without conditions. Her voice broke slightly, but he didn't give me the same. Backslash. Tan then detailed how she discovered the truth, not through paparazzi photos or tabloids, but through a close mutual friend. "I found out from someone who didn't want me to be hurt anymore." She showed me text messages between Soo and Lin that went back months. Flirting, innuendo, even plans to meet while I was away filming in Yunnan. I was devastated, not because he cheated, but because he lied while holding my hand. When asked if Soo ever confessed, Tin gave a long pause. He denied it at first, gaslighted me, told me I was insecure. Then, when the evidence was undeniable, he said he was confused and that Lin understood him better. He didn't even have the decency to end things with respect. He just faded away, leaving me to piece my heart back together alone. Within hours of the interview airing, she issued a statement on her Weibo, claiming she had no idea Soo was in a committed relationship with Tan at the time. "I was misled. I trusted him. I didn't know I was part of someone else's heartbreak." But fans weren't convinced. Netizens unearthed past interviews and behind-the-scenes clips where she seemed to flirt openly with Soo, while smirking when reporters asked about his rumored relationship with Tan. The public backlash was swift. Soo Kai's agency released a brief statement days later, calling the situation a personal matter and asking for respect for privacy. Soo himself posted a vague message. "I made mistakes, but I never intended to hurt anyone." But the damage was done. Major endorsements dropped him. Fans turned into critics overnight. Even colleagues in the industry quietly began distancing themselves. What truly sent shockwaves, however, was when an anonymous insider leaked screenshots of Soo allegedly pressuring Tan not to go public with betrayal, saying it would ruin his image and hurt her too. I protected him even when he didn't deserve it, Tan later confirmed. But I won't protect lies anymore. Rather than retreating to shame or heartbreak, Tan's Songyun rose. In a move that stunned everyone, she signed on to star in The Unbroken, a film about a woman who was betrayed but rises stronger, wiser, and fearless. Art imitating life. Not only is a film poised to dominate award season, but it's also already being hailed as Tan's most powerful performance to date. Audiences sobbed as her character stared into the camera and whispered, "You didn't break me. You just freed me." It was more than a line. It was a message to Soo Kai, to Lin Shi, to every woman who has ever been lied to and left to bleed quietly. Will love ever return? Despite the betrayal, Tan isn't closing her heart. "I still believe in love," she said in the interview's final moments, eyes shimmering. What Sue did, it didn't kill love itself. It just showed me who didn't deserve mine. I know somewhere out there's someone who will meet my loyalty with their own, and I won't settle for less again. Her courage, grace, and refusal to be reduced by pain have sparked a movement online. Fans have dubbed her China's Phoenix, a woman who rose from ashes that weren't her fault, fiercer than ever. What happened between Tan Songyun and Soo Kai is more than a celebrity scandal. It's a reflection of trust betrayed, of a woman reclaiming her voice, and of how the truth, no matter how late it comes, has the power to set someone free. As for Soo Kai, time will tell if he finds redemption or fades into obscurity. But one thing is clear. The world has seen who he is behind the charm, and they've chosen to stand with the woman he broke. Tan Songyun didn't just survive the betrayal. She transformed it into power. And as the final line of The Unbroken declares, the sun had barely risen the morning after Tan Songyun's earth-shattering interview aired, yet the world was already different. Social media feeds were flooded with hashtags, fan theories, and shockwaves of heartbreak. And while many sympathized, what came next wasn't just sympathy, it was a deeper reckoning. Because Tan hadn't just exposed a betrayal. She had laid bare the devastating reality of what happens when someone you love becomes a stranger with your secrets in his hands. The Qingdao apartment, a ghost of what was. One of the most heart-wrenching moments in the interview was Tan's mention of the little hideaway in Qingdao, a modest seaside apartment where she and Soo Kai had spent quiet moments away from flashing cameras and studio noise. It was ours, just the two of us. We'd cook instant noodles at midnight and talk about what kind of parents we'd be someday. There was a spot on the balcony where he said he wanted to propose. I can't even go near that city anymore. What struck viewers wasn't just her words. It was the broken softness in her voice when she described how she found Sue's jacket still hanging on the coat rack even after the breakup. I stood in that hallway for 10 minutes, smelling the jacket like a fool. I thought maybe he'd come back. Maybe this was just a nightmare. But he didn't. Lin, she was never the problem. While netizens went after Lin Shi with fury, Tan surprised everyone with a powerful statement. Let me be clear. Lin Shi was not the one who promised me forever. Sue did. The betrayal wasn't in Lin. It was in the man who kissed me in the morning and texted her at night. That statement alone sparked a surge of admiration. No victim blaming. No revenge. Just truth. Still, a behind-the-scenes detail emerged. One Tan didn't mention, but a close friend revealed anonymously. There was a rap party after Burning Snow rapped, the source said. Tan showed up to surprise Sue. She walked in, expecting a hug, and found him whispering into Lin's ear, holding her hand under the table. I'll never forget the way Tan froze. It was that night Tan quietly left, caught a 3 a.m. flight back to Beijing, and never spoke to Sue again. Soo Kai's panic, the phone calls that went unanswered. After Tan's interview aired, Soo Kai reportedly attempted damage control. According to multiple insiders, he made several panicked attempts to reach her, including calling from unknown numbers, sending emails, and even arriving unannounced at her agency's office. He left a handwritten note that read, I messed up. I lost the only person who ever truly knew me. Please, let's talk. But Tan refused. What would I say, she told the Phoenix Weekly. That I forgive him? I don't. That I still love him? Maybe in the way you love an echo of someone who no longer exists. The private diary Tan never meant to share. Midway through the interview, Tan did something no one expected. She opened an old leather journal. This was the diary I kept while we were together. I never meant to share it, but maybe someone out there needs to hear this. She read aloud a passage from last year, dated June 14th. He said I made him feel like home, that no matter how big the world got, my arms would always be a safe place. I don't know how to explain the happiness in that moment. I wanted time to stop. And another, just weeks before their rumored breakup. He's more distant lately. Laughs less. Sleeps on the edge of the bed. I asked him what's wrong, and he says he's tired. But it feels like we're already over, and just pretending we're not. Fans wept, not because it was dramatic, but because it was real. Love letters never sent. Another heartbreaking reveal. The love letters Tan wrote to Sue, but never gave him. One began, "If one day you forget how much I believed in you, come back to this. I loved you before you were famous, before you were polished and adored. I loved the version of you who made dumplings with me and danced to bad 90s music in our pajamas." That version didn't lie. In the end, she burned the letters. I didn't want to leave traces of a man who left me with questions instead of answers. Shortly after the scandal broke, Tan took on The Unbroken, a role many believed she wasn't ready for emotionally. But Tan used her wounds as fuel. A source from the set recalled. There's a scene where her character finds out she's been cheated on. The director called cut 5 times because she was shaking, crying for real. She wasn't acting. She was bleeding truth. Her performance has since been hailed as Oscar-worthy, not because she was perfect, but because she was honest. In an unexpected turn of events, fan support exploded. From handmade art murals in Shanghai reading Tan, "You Deserve the World," to online donation drives for women's shelters in her name, people began using her story as a symbol of strength. Actress Zhao lying reposted Tan's interview with the caption, "Sometimes losing someone is the only way to find yourself." Even director Feng Xiaojing chimed in, "She turned pain into performance. That's not acting. That's legacy." When asked if she could ever fall in love again, Tan paused for a long time. "I don't know. I'm scared, yes. But I also know that love, real love, isn't supposed to leave you questioning your worth. It's supposed to anchor you, not drown you." There was a smile, subtle but steady. And maybe, just maybe, someone out there is waiting to show me that kind of love. Someone who won't make me beg for honesty. One last moment in the interview stood out. Tan was asked if she would ever return to the Qingdao apartment. She looked down, then said softly, "I went back once. At sunrise, I stood on the beach alone, and I wrote his name in the sand, then watched the tide wash it away. That was the moment I forgave myself for believing in a lie." And with that, she closed a chapter, not just on Sue Kai, but on a version of herself that waited for someone who never showed up. And Sue Kai? He may have walked away from love, but Tan walked toward the truth. And that is the most